Hello, my name is Rocket, and welcome to episode 1 of my Pokémon FireRed Omega Hardcore Nuzlocke attempt number 2. So I am finally back on the Pokémon FireRed Omega Hardcore Nuzlocke, and I am pretty excited to be back. It's been a while, for sure, since I've played this game, especially as Hardcore Nuzlocke, and I'm finally ready to start attempt number 2. Now, spoiler alert, attempt number 1 ended with us fighting Gary in the Elite Four rematch. It was the absolute last fight of the Nuzlocke, but we were not able to win, because once we reached Gary, we only had one Pokemon remaining, so it was kind of a disappointing finish for sure. A little bit frustrating as well, but I'm finally back to complete the challenge of this Hardcore Nuzlocke. Now, the rules are going to be the same as last time. I'm gonna recap really quickly. If you forget the rules midway, do not worry, they will always be in the description below. So we can only catch the first Pokemon of each location. If a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead, and you can no longer use it for the rest of the run. There's an optional nicknaming rule that I usually just use it because why not? We cannot use items in battle. We have level caps for the gyms and the Elite Four. We have to play on set mode. We need to fight every single trainer in the game, and we cannot use the gift starters. So, explaining the last rule a little bit, in Pokemon FireRed Omega, you have different starters. You have Magby, Smoochum, and Elekid. So, the rest of the starters, the vanilla starters, so Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Torchic, Mudkip, Trico, all of those starters, they are given to you as you play the game for free. Now, I think that kinda takes down the difficulty of this Hardcore Nuzlocke, so I just completely take them out of my Nuzlocke rules, so I have a little bit of a hard challenge. And with that said, let us just go ahead and begin attempt number 2. Now, attempt number 2 is actually going to be a little bit different than attempt number 1. In attempt number 1, it was my first time playing Pokemon FireRed Omega, and I was just kinda exploring the game as well, because it was, even though it's just like the vanilla FireRed on terms of map, there were a few differences that made the game feel fresh, and I was just really trying to experience the game. But I experienced the full game, and now on attempt number 2, we are just going straight for just the challenge. I'm going to be speeding up a lot on moments that I can't speed up, and I'm just going to be going through like encounters and whatnot, and kind of explaining on my opinion on those encounters specifically. Sort of as like a guide, I guess. Like say, oh, this encounter could be pretty good if you get it, if not, this one could be okay, but this one is horrible. Even though it's just by chance, I kind of want to talk about encounters and talk more about specific mechanics of the game, because I feel like I'm already, since I played through the whole game recently, I guess it wasn't that recently, but still recently, I think I have a good grasp on this game. So I want to talk about encounters and what I think is best for the Nuzlocke and whatnot, and yeah, I made it kind of like a guide, I guess. So yeah, we're gonna be speeding up, we're gonna go straight for the challenge. The absolute objective of this first episode is to beat Brock already. We're gonna go ahead and beat Brock. So with that said, let us just go ahead and begin the challenge. So, on attempt number 1, I played as the girl character, so we're gonna be playing as the boy character today. And our rival will be Gary as usual. And with that said, let us go straight to Professor's Oak Lab and get our starter. Now, for the starters, the way I do it is depending on which number or trainer ID ends, we get a specific Pokemon. So 1 to 3, I have it written down. 1 to 3 it's Magby, 4 to 6 is Smoochum, and 7 to 9 we get Elekid. So let's talk about the starters, shall we? So the best starter you can get, if you're picking your own starter, is going to be Elekid. Elekid is definitely the best starter in the game, especially if he knows the ability that Drayano put. Drayano is the developer of this game, of this ROM hack, and he actually gave Elekid the ability Volt Absorb. So in normal games, Elekid cannot learn Volt Absorb, but in this ROM hack he can. And Volt Absorb can be really insane for specific fights, and really help you make some certain strategies possible in a few fights. So I do think Elekid is definitely the best starter. Not only that, All the stars in this game have a 10 plus base stat on each of the stats, so like attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed. Every single stat is up by 10. Elekid becomes a real Elekid in future Electabuzz. They become really powerful in terms of damage. They have pretty high attack, have pretty high special attack, and they do okay on speed, and they can become really powerful with Volt Absorb. They learn Volt Tackle as a signature move, which is absolutely insane, and I think it becomes a really strong Electric-type Pokemon. Not only that, it helps you against Misty in the early game, and it honestly helps you against Lieutenant Surge because you can just Volt Absorb his Electric-type moves if you do pivot into those types of things. These are some more, I guess, advanced strategies for Nuzlocke, but this is something I'm going to be trying to be doing, and having Volt Absorb can be really good. Either ability can have a static, which is still fine to get, but obviously not as good as Volt Absorb, but I still think that because of contact, you can still make static be useful. Now for the other 2 stars, we have Smoochum, and we have Magby. I don't really know which one I prefer out of the 2. I think Smoochum can be a little bit harder to play with because Smoochum and Jinx have very low defense, and that means that every time you're facing a physical opponent with, you know, that attacks with physical attacks, it's going to be really hard to not lose Smoochum or Jinx. So I think it's definitely a more advanced pick, but also think it can be a little bit greater than Magmar because your special attack is absolutely insane. You hit like a goddamn truck, and you can become really scary if you're given the room to actually do stuff. I think Magby is just going to be your like typical Fire-type Pokemon. I think Fire-type can be really interesting in Nuzlocke. If played correctly with, it just becomes a pretty good all-rounder Fire-type Pokemon. I definitely have had more experience with Elekid than with the other 2, since the only time I played this game before, I got Elekid as my starter. So yeah, after attempt number 1, I did change my opinion. I probably said that Smoochum was the best one, and I changed my mind. I think Elekid is the best starter, and I think probably Smoochum and Magby are a little bit below that, but I don't really know which one I would pick between the 2 if I was picking my starter. So that said, recap, Elekid insane, gets Volt Tackle. If he gets Volt Absorb, can be really good for strategies. Jinx can be a little bit harder to play with, but can still be kind of a monster if played with correctly, and Magby's probably like an okay choice as well. But with that said, let us see what our trainer ID ends with. I'm pretty excited to see which starter we're going to be getting. And we get a 2, which means we're going to get Magby. That's actually pretty interesting. I don't think I was expecting Magby. I have no idea how things are going to be going. Okay, so this is pretty interesting, because I think I have more knowledge of Elekid, right? And I think because when you pick Elekid, your Gary gets a Smoochum, I think I actually have a bit more knowledge of those 2. And Magby is kind of the one of the 3 stars that I don't really have that much knowledge with. It's going to be really interesting to see how we do with this Pokemon. So we're going to get Magby. So the name I have for this is from a volcano named Olympus, so pretty much it. I don't really have anything else for it. So we're going to have our starter Magby Olympus. And I guess it's going to be just a typical special attacker, right? Oh my god. I have a few weird keys, like arrow keys in this keyboard, but it's fine. Alright, so let's just get our name, and let's get started with the Nuzlocke. So we have Olympus, and he gets Elekid, obviously. So if he has static, this fight can be pretty hard. And if you get paralyzed. Is a Scratch or a Leer gonna be good? Let me see his stats. So let's see. We have a Quiet nature. Quiet is... I don't know the natures by heart, so I kind of need to check here. A little graphic. Plus special attack and minus speed. Honestly, not the worst thing. I like the plus special attack, even if I dislike the minus speed. That can actually be interesting. Okay. Not the worst nature. So let's see. Should I Leer? Kind of feel like I want to Leer 1, but I don't think the difference from one stage down on the fence will make a difference. Let's just go for a Scratch. He did Leer. He does have Volt Absorb, and we got double Leered, so we need to keep attacking. Don't crit. Okay, we took him down. Nice. Okay. So, you know, just scratching my way through that fight. I think Leer would probably been a waste of time, maybe. We got Ember as well. But with that, we have defeated Gary, which means that's our first fight. We do get an Eevee for that, and I think Elekid gives us a speed Eevee. So I'm gonna take notes because I actually want to keep track of my Eevees in this Nuzlocke. So let's see. Okay, with that said, I want to go and get the Pokeballs before I actually start talking a little bit about my opinion on the encounters on Route 1. So let's go get in that potion for free, always important. Something really important as well, remove your Oranberry. Do not have your Oranberry. Save the Oranberries for, and whatever items you get for important fights because, you know, berries aren't really common in FireRed Vanilla or in this ROM hack, so you're gonna want to have those Oranberries saved up, as well as other items for important fights. So let's go ahead and get the Oaks Partial. And yeah, just basically go really quickly this time around. I know that in attempt number 1 I was just really slowly just enjoying my time, but like I said, I want this to be this part just to be about the challenge and completing the Nuzlocke, so we want to go quickly and just go through things. So let's just get over with this, and we're gonna get our first 5 Pokeballs in the Pokédex, which means we can finally begin the Nuzlocke. And with that, I'm excited to see what the hell we're gonna be getting. So let's start with Route 1. Okay, so in Route 1, you can get Doduo. Doduo is probably going to be an S-tier encounter in this route. Doduo is I really like Doduo. I think it's a really strong flying type Pokemon. It also learns Tri-Attack, which is an insane normal type stab move to get. I don't think he learns it that late anyway, and I think Doduo can be a really good Pokemon to use early game, mid game, and late game. Him being normal type also helps, right? Because you get the Tri-Attack stab, which is even more insane than just Tri-Attack. And I think it can be really interesting. So yeah, I definitely think Doduo is an S-tier encounter. Then we have the Nidoran. So you have Nidoran female and Nidoran male. I think they're okay encounters, like probably like A to B, I guess. They're all around okay. I guess they get Poison Point. I can't quite remember what other abilities they can get, but all around they should be fine. They're both gonna become Poison Ground, which can be interesting. And yeah, I think all around they're fine to get here. Next up we have Pidgey. Pidgey, horrible encounter. You do not want Pidgey. Pidgey's like the most generic flying type Pokemon you're going to be getting. It's not very good early, mid, or late game. It's just very generic, very basic. It doesn't have anything to make it, I think, stronger than any other encounter that you might get here. Especially if you can get Dodo as a flying type. My god. You can also get a lot of flying types in future routes, and they're all way better than Pidgey. So if you get Pidgey here, a little bit unlucky. Obviously, don't worry too much about it. Pidgey's still fine to use, and still a flying type that can help you against a few opponents, as well as like the Bug Catchers and Viridian Forest, I guess. But yeah, overall, you do not want a Pidgey here. Next up, we have Ponyta. Ponyta's an interesting encounter. I do not think it's that good in Generation 3, because it does have a lot of attack, and in Generation 3, all Fire type moves are special. There's no Generation 4 physical special split, so I think Ponyta's probably worse than it could be. But I honestly think this is not the encounter you want to get here. I think it's probably like B to C tier. It's just something you don't really, you know, if you could get something better, it would be fine, but if you can get it instead of a Pidgey, that's still okay. It's worse for me specifically because I have Magby as my starter, so it's not very good. Now, if you have either Elekid or Smoochum, and you do get a Ponyta here, it's still okay. It's still a Fire-type Pokemon, it can be useful. The only problem I have with getting Ponyta here is that in Viridian City, right, the city above us, I think, because of the ROM hack, you can actually get an encounter there. You can either get a grass encounter or a fish encounter, but one of the grass encounters is Houndour. Now, because there is no Gen 4 physical special split, all Dark-type moves in Generation 3 are special, which means that Bite and Crunch are special attacks, which means Houndour is probably stronger than it would be in like Generation 4. So I definitely think Houndour is going to be a better option than Ponyta, because Ponyta has a lot of its stats on attack, while Houndour I think it's more of a special attacker and even has the Dark-type special moves to back it up. So I think like between getting Ponyta here or in Viridian Forest or in Viridian City, definitely Houndour would be a better Fire-type option. Hopefully I don't get any Fire-type Pokemon because I do have Magby, so I don't really need another Fire-type. Something very important is to get different typings of Pokemon, especially very early on, so you can actually create different teams and just have a different variety of options. available. But yeah, that's what I think about Ponyta. It's fine, but not something ideally that you want, I guess. Because if you do want a fire type really badly, I'll just, I prefer Houndour, if that makes sense. So next up we have Rattata. Rattata is an interesting one. Rattata is probably an S to A encounter. If Rattata has guts, it's probably an S tier encounter for sure. I think Rattata is incredibly underrated. It's super powerful in the earlier stages of the game. It learns Hyper Fang with Stab, which is absolutely an insane amount of damage. If it has guts, it's super insane. It's S tier for sure. Something I think that even helps Rattata in this game specifically is that most of the encounters you're going to be getting are probably like mid to late game stronger than early game, and you kind of need that early Pokemon to carry you through the early game. And I think Rattata is perfect for that with the Hyper Fang. If it does have guts instead of Runaway, it's absolutely insane. I think it's an S tier encounter. I think it's extremely underrated, and I would advise you to get one. It's so strong. So, and the last encounter we can get here is going to be Sentret. Sentret is pretty bad. It's probably with Pidgey down there. It's just very generic, very basic. Doesn't really help you with too much. It doesn't have anything to like stand out from the rest of the crowd. So usually don't want to Sentret. So recapping very quickly before we get our first encounter. Doduo, S tier encounter, Tri-Attack, Stab move, completely insane. Really decent, pretty good Flying type Pokemon as well. Have Rattata. Rattata can be S tier to A tier depending if it has Runaway or Guts as an ability, but overall it can be really good to help you in the early stages of the game, especially with Hyper Fang. Then you have your okay encounters. You have the Nidorans, Nidoran male, Nidoran female, pretty okay to get. And I guess you can also add Ponyta to that list depending if you don't have Magby, so if you have Elekid or Smoochum. And then on the pretty bad encounters, you have Pidgey and Sentret. I think that's all the encounters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So that's all the encounters. So with that said, hopefully everything is pretty well explained on the encounters. Let's go ahead and get our round 1 encounter. So we're hoping for a Doduo or a Rattata specifically with Guts would be more helpful, but if you get one with Runaway, it's still fine. Other than that, I guess I will be okay with one of the Nidorans. We do get a Nidoran male, which is interesting. I don't know if this has Poison Point. It's only level 3. Ooh, I'm gonna scratch once. Please don't crit. Okay, we do get Poison Pointed. Okay, let's just start throwing balls and start catching some Pokemon. So Nidoran male, this is interesting. I don't think I ever used a Nidoran male on a Nuzlocke. Please catch it. Poison Point can be scary. Thank you. Alright, so we got our first catch, a Nidoran male. Interesting. So the name I have for this is Spike. So let's just go with that. Pretty sure it's Spike. Yeah. Probably better names out there, but I'm very bad at naming Pokemon. I only named the Pokemon because of the Nuzlocke, I guess. It's one of the rules, I guess. Optional, but I'm still fine with doing it. But now, we kind of want to get out of the grass because of Poison Point and keep track a little bit. So you have 18, 17, like 16, 14. I think we're fine. Let's just go heal. And that's our first encounter. Okay, so now we are here in Viridian City, right? Oh my god. Viridian City, exactly. So in Viridian City, let's get the fishing rod. You can get the fishing rod right here in Viridian City and the old rod. But do not worry, Drayano made sure that you can actually catch other Pokemon that are not Magikarp. You can get a lot of different Pokemon, really. So let's just get the old rod, and let's go straight to talk about the Viridian City encounters. So in Viridian City, you can get 2 types of encounters. You can either get a grass encounter or a fish encounter. Oh, actually, before that, I'm so sorry. We need to go buy Pokeballs. It's really important. So let's go ahead and buy the maximum we can. And now let's talk about the encounters. So yeah, you can get grass encounters and fish encounters. Now, in the water, you can get either Magikarp or Barboach. I think Barboach can be really good because it's a water ground type Pokemon, which is a pretty good typing for Nuzlocke. Water ground can be pretty insane. But I think you can actually go better with the grass type encounters, and let me explain why. So the problem with getting water encounters over grass encounters when you do have that option is that usually in vanilla games and in the Strom hack as well, there's usually a lot of water, which means you get a lot of water type encounters. So you're basically, all of your team, your party is going to be filled with water type, and if you have the option, you usually want something that's not a water type, so you get a bigger variety. Now, another thing why I do prefer getting the grass encounter over the fish encounter in this area is that the grass has pretty good Pokemon. You can get some pretty nice encounters here. So I do recommend to get a grass encounter over Barboach. You usually get Barboach here. There's a small chance you find a Magikarp, but usually you get the Barboach. And I did use the Barboach in attempt number 1. He was extremely helpful. I love Whiscash. It just looks goofy and fun. I just really like it for some reason. And I had a lot of fun using it. It really helped me. It saved me a lot of times. It helped me. It was really good, right? It's not a bad Pokemon to get. Don't get me wrong. I would be happy to get another Barboach for my team. But I think the most optimal and consistent strategy to have a better shot at winning this Nuzlocke is to get a grass encounter. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the grass encounter, shall we? So in the grass... Oh, sorry about that. We can get Swablu. Swablu is probably an okay Pokemon to get. It's not something you kind of want, but it's still a fine to get. You know, it's going to become a dragon, right? So that could be interesting. But other than that, there's nothing too good about it, I would say. It's just a very okay Pokemon. I think it can be good. I think I'm underestimating it a little bit, but I do think there's better encounters to get here. Next up we have Ralts. Ralts, I'm pretty sure, this is something I'm pretty sure is that Ralts is buffed in Pokemon FireRed Omega, which means he's even stronger. And that is really interesting to me. I think Ralts is actually probably the best encounter you can get here. It's a Psychic type Pokemon. It's buffed. It can do incredibly well. Gardevoir can be really interesting. So yeah, I think Gardevoir even learns Recover, right? So that's even more interesting. Something like a Psychic Recover, Calm Mind set can be really interesting and really helpful if you play optimally. So I do think Ralts could be a really good encounter to get here, probably S to A tier. Next up we have Houndour. Already talked about Houndour. If you don't have Magby, it can be a pretty good encounter to get because Dark-type moves are also special in this generation. Dark-type is my favorite typing in Pokemon, so I would be really happy to get a Houndour either way. I think it's a really cool Pokemon. It's also dual-type, which is interesting to get this early in the game, you know, having a Fire-Dark type. Can be helpful, not specifically for Brock, but I still think it could be a really nice addition to the team. It's probably A to B, maybe even S, I don't know. Around those areas, it's still a pretty good encounter. Next up we have Mareep. Mareep is pretty darn good. If you do not have Elekid to help you with Misty, I think Mareep can be a really good encounter. Ampharos is a pretty bulky Electric-type Pokemon, which can be pretty interesting, honestly. I think can be really good. And it's just a very decent to good Electric-type Pokemon. It's bulky, it's Electric-type, it helps you with Misty. It learns Thunder Punch, I think, so in this ROM hack. I don't know if it usually learns Thunder Punch. I'm pretty sure it learns Thunder Punch in this Nuzlocke, and it can be pretty powerful. So if you don't have Elekid, I think getting a Mareep here for Misty can be really interesting as well. And then the last encounter is Skitty. This is the no-no encounter you definitely don't want to get. Skitty is horrible. It has no thing to stand out from the rest. It's just a normal type, very generic, not good. So recapping really quickly, you kind of just want a Ralts or a Mareep if you didn't have Elekid, and then you have Houndour is a pretty good option. Then you have Swablu, which is meh, and then you have Skitty, that's a no-no. So let's see what we get. I'm kind of scared. I really hope you don't get a Skitty, something else, even a Houndour. So you do get the Houndour, which means you get 2 fire types. It's not the end of the world. I would prefer probably a Ralts or a Mareep, but it's fine. Let's go ahead and see if you can catch this thing. So we have 18 Pokeballs, so I think we'll be fine to capture this. So yeah. So right now we don't really have too much of an answer for Brock, but hopefully we can change that in a little bit. Okay, so we got Houndour. The name I have for this is Nero. I don't really know how you want to say it. That's going to be our nickname for this Houndour. And before I forget, let's check the natures. So we have Spike with an Adamant nature. That's really insane. Adamant, I'm pretty sure it's plus attack nature. Where is Adamant? Adamant, plus attack and minus special attack. Insane. Perfect for Spike. Really good nature. I'm really happy about this one. And then we have Nero with Lonely nature. Where is Lonely? Lonely plus attack minus defense. Ugh, that's pretty bad. Oh well, at least we got a really good Nidoran male. And it's not like we need specifically a really good, you know, fire type, since we do have Olympus with a plus special attack nature. The only problem is that it's going to be a bit slow. But maybe with the plus 10 stats will still be fine. So yeah, that's going to be our Route or Viridian City encounter, I mean. So now I actually want to go ahead and talk about Route 22 encounters. So let's go ahead and get this potion, and let's go to Route 22. Okay, so Route 22, let's talk about the encounters. So, Route 22, we can get Hoot Hoot. Hoot Hoot, I did get on my on my first attempt. It did fine. It was a pretty okay. Early to mid game, it can be pretty okay. Late game, it's just not good enough, I think. So you definitely don't want to use Hoot Hoot for the late game. But you know, if you need a bulky Pokemon to help you through the early game, to mid game, I think it learns Hypnosis, right, which could be really interesting to help you. Hypnosis is buffed on this game. It has higher accuracy, so that's even cooler. It definitely can be a nice addition to your team. Now, the problem with trying Route 22 encounters is that most things suck. Next up we have Mankey, you know, pretty generic fighting type. It can be useful, it can help you against Rock, it's definitely fine to get. The problem is that all the other encounters are Rattata. Now, Rattata, obviously very good encounter, especially if you didn't get it on Route 1, S-A encounter. The problem is that you have a chance to get Sentret, Skitty, or Zigzagoon as encounters. Now, I don't remember if Zigzagoon is good in this game. There was one game, maybe it's Emerald Kaizo, but there was one game where Zigzagoon actually became pretty powerful because it learned Belly Drum, and you can do some interesting things with it. Or was it something else? I don't remember. There was something that made Zigzagoon pretty powerful. But I don't know if it was this one, so I kind of don't want to get one. And then if you get Skitty or Sentret, it's just so bad. Like, oh my god, you do not want this, right? If there's a chance for you to get Rattata, or even Mankey, or even Hoot Hoot, sure. But like, half of the Pokemon here are just not ideal. So what I usually do here is actually not get our encounter in the grass, but actually beat Gary and get our encounter in the water. Now, in the water, we can get Clamperl or Poliwag. Both are pretty okay water types, but the difference between getting just a random Route 22 encounters and maybe having a bad encounter, instead of just getting a reliable water type, is that you need something for Brock. So if you don't get something for Brock specifically in all of your encounters, having a nice water type can be really helpful, right? Because we do need a water type for Brock for sure. So I do think the plan will be to wait, beat Gary. Gary has a level 9 Zubat from what I remember, and a level 9 Elekid, I guess, because he got Magby. So we definitely have to do a little bit of grinding, but overall, I do think maybe getting Poliwag or Clamperl can be a better idea. The only problem I have with that is that I'm kind of like contradicting myself, because I just said, oh, get the grass instead of the water encounter, you know? So it's that's the only problem I have with getting this encounter. So the thing I thought about making this a consistent strategy to beat Brock, to have something to beat Brock, is that if you get a grass type from Route 2 or Viridian or Pewter City, I do not think you need the water type specifically, so you can try to get a Rattata here. I think it, or even Mankey, or even Hoot Hoot, but specifically trying to get Rattata or Mankey. If you do not get a grass type on Route 2, on Viridian Forest, and on Pewter City as our encounters, I do think getting a Poliwag or a Clamperl will probably be worth it to have an easier time against Brock. So hopefully that made sense. I know I'm talking too much about encounters, but I do think it's important to kind of help out to figure out, you know, what's good and what's not good. Even though it's all random, you still have the choice to pick which encounter you get, right? If it's the fishing, if it's the grass. And I'm just telling you like the pros and cons of each area. So obviously the pros of the fishing area is that you get a water type for Brock. The cons is that you get a water type, and you can get a lot of water types in the future. The pros from grass encounters, I can get Rattata. If you get a Rattata with Guts, good for you. If you get Mankey, it helps you for Brock, which is pretty good. But if you get Skitty, if you get Zigzagoon, it kind of feels like a waste of an encounter sometimes. So we'll come back here after I decide, or we see the rest of our encounters, to see if I want to get the water encounter, or we'll just try to go for a Rattata or a Mankey. But with that done, we got our Route 1 encounter, we got our Viridian City encounter, and we skipped Route 22 encounter. Let's go ahead and go for Route 2. So in Route 2, let's talk about in the encounter, shall we? In Route 2... Oh god. So in round 2 we can get Hoot Hoot again. Like I said, it can be pretty okay early to mid game. It learns Hypnosis, can be pretty fine. Then we have Hoppip. Hoppip is actually an interesting encounter for me because it does learn Leech Seed and Sleep Powder, right? So that can be actually a pretty interesting combo to use, especially early to mid game. Obviously in the late game, Jump Lift won't be enough, so obviously, you know, it just can't help us on the late game. But I think it can still be a quite decent encounter for early to mid. But obviously I think there's better encounters, and I think Hoppip in the long run won't be that useful, right? Next up we have Pidgey. Again, horrible encounter, you do not want Pidgey. We already talked about that. Then we have Poochyena. Since I already got Houndour, I don't think I want a Poochyena, even though I really like the Dark-type Pokemons. But it definitely can be an interesting encounter. But I do not think it's very good. It's probably like C to D tier even. Next we have Sentret. Sentret again, pretty bad. We have Shroomish. Shroomish is the S tier encounter in this route. If you can get a single Pokemon from this route, you want a Shroomish. I got a Shroomish in attempt number 1, and I honestly never thought too much about Breloom. But if there's one thing I learned from my first attempt at this hardcore Nuzlocke, is that Breloom is an absolutely insane monster. It has incredible, it has a pretty interesting, like, type, you know, fighting grass. It has a really good move pool, and it has pretty good stats. It's actually amazing. It's probably a Pokemon that you can use from right here, from round 2 to probably the end of the game, and it can be completely viable always, and it's super insane with its move pool. So I definitely think Breloom is a Pokemon, or Shroomish specifically, is the Pokemon you want to get in round 2. If you can, S-tier encounter, highly recommend, OP as hell. And the last encounter we can get, or no, we can get Swablu as well. I already talked about Swablu, it's okay, but nothing too, you know, too powerful. It becomes a dragon, I guess. And Zigzagoon, again, pretty bad. So, yeah, we still have our pretty good Pokemon, we have our bad Pokemon, but in this area we cannot pick between, you know, fishing or grass, so we're just gonna have to go with the grass and see what we get. Are our Pokemon healed? Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we get as our route to encounter. Hopefully a Shroomish. I would love to have another Shroomish on my team, and hopefully this time I will use it better. We got a Zigzagoon, so pretty bad. So that means that in round 22, the only bad Pokemon we can really get is either Sentret or even Hoot Hoot, but there's a higher chance of us getting a Rattata or a Mankey because of Dupe's Claws. So that is pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna risk. I'm probably gonna risk it because we're probably gonna get a Grass type, but let's first see if we can actually get a Grass type. Especially one in particular, I think it's gonna be better. Let's see. We got our Zigzagoon. So the name I have for this is Rocket. So let's go ahead and name it Rocket. Yeah, nothing like, you know, it's just gonna be there, like Sack or something. Nothing too good. Let's see, it's a sassy nature. So sassy. Sassy special defense and minus speed. Pretty bad. But oh well, it is what it is. I'm gonna go probably just catch a Viridian City encounter, honestly. Oh, this is where you get Trico, by the way. I'm gonna get it and then just release it to the wild. Just to make sure that's done. We are not allowed to use gift starters. Yeah, if you get Trico, you can definitely just get whatever you want in any other location. With Trico and with Mudkip, you can easily defeat Brock, I think. And you get both of those before Brock, so... Right, let's go over Viridian Forest encounters. So Viridian Forest, you can get Caterpie or Metapod. Now, this is something more of a preference of mine. I really like Butterfree. I think Compound Eyes with Supersonic and Sleep Powder can be really nice. And also learn Psychic, and it can have like a Flying type move like Gust, or even a Bug type move. I think I really like Butterfree. It's probably a Pokemon I would use because I like it, more of like a preference than I think it's a very good encounter. But I think it can be really useful for certain strategies with Supersonic and Sleep Powder. It can really help you set up for different Pokemon and do a lot of things. I definitely think it's one of the better encounters you can get here in Viridian Forest. Next up we have Weedle to Kakuna. You do not want a Beedrill. Beedrill is always pretty bad. Unfortunately, it does not have good stats. It does nothing good. It doesn't have any good move pool. It's just a pretty bad Pokemon overall to get. So yeah, we do not want a Weedle or a Kakuna. Next up we have Pidgey or Pidgeotto. Again, I'm saying this over and over. Pretty bad encounter, very generic. Flying type, you do not want to get one, if possible. Next up we have Wurmple. Now, why would I want a Dustox or a Beautifly when I can have a Butterfree, right? I think Butterfree is just a better version of all the bug types you can get here, so ideally you do not get a Wurmple or a Weedle or even a Surskit. Surskit is another bug type Pokemon that we can get here. I still think Butterfree is going to be way better than Masquerain in any way, so again, we do not want Surskit at all. And the last bug type Pokemon we can get here is Venonat. Venonat, I guess, you know, Venomoth is still not better than Butterfree. So ideally, between all these bug type Pokemon, if you get a Caterpie, honestly, it's a good Pokemon to get. Butterfree's gonna help you out. Compound Eye, Supersonic, Sleep Powder, Psychic. Keep repeating myself. It's just very good, honestly. Now, the other encounters you can get here that are not bug types are gonna be Pikachu. Pikachu, if you don't have Elekid or Mareep, can be a pretty good encounter to help you with Misty. Pretty basic, I guess, generic electric type, not the best you're going to be getting, but still pretty okay to help you out against Misty. The other Pokemon you're going to be getting is Bellsprout and Oddish. I think specifically they're going to be helping you with Brock. With Misty, not too much, because Misty likes using Ice-type moves, so it's a little bit harder to use them efficiently, but I still think they can be useful for the gym as well. So yeah, definitely, getting Bellsprout or Oddish is fine, getting Pikachu is fine, getting Caterpie is fine, the rest is pretty bad. Not really something that stands out to me that well. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what we get. We do get a Caterpie. Okay, I'm happy with this encounter. I love Butterfree, like I said, so I'm pretty happy with this encounter. Okay. So, wow, we do get Caterpie. That is so cool. Well, let's go ahead and catch it. So I'm pretty happy with this encounter. I'm pretty happy with this encounter. Am I happy with any of the other encounters? Not really too happy about anyone else. I'm gonna name it Wings. Yeah, I don't think I'm really happy with any other encounter. I'm happy with this one. The only problem is that if you don't get a grass type, we're gonna have a big trouble on beating Brock, I think. Okay, so now let's go and get Trico to the computer and release it. And now to get our last encounter in Pewter City, we need to find one Bugcatcher. There's a mandatory Bugcatcher, and he has level 9 Paris, which is an attack EV. And my team is not ready to fight him. So there's Trico released. So I'm probably gonna have to grind a little bit. Probably Spike is gonna do it, right? Because he's a physical attacker. Or even Zigzagoon if needed, but yeah. I think I'm going to train my team to level 10. All of them. And not here. I do my grinding sessions separately from the Nuzlocke video. Yeah, I think the plan now is to get all my Pokemon to level 10. We're going to be fighting that Bugcatcher, and we're going to be getting our last encounter, and then we're going to be preparing for Brock. So yeah, this is our team for now. I do want to see what nature Wings is. It's a gentle nature. Plus special defense and minus defense. Not good, really, but oh well. I don't think that's why we have it. I think if it gets hit too much, it's gonna die either way. So yeah, not exactly good, is it? But oh well. Pretty happy with Caterpie, and I guess I'm kind of happy about Spike being Adamant nature. Other than that, I don't think any of these encounters are the best I could have gotten. I think I would have been really happy with Houndour, with Nero. If I didn't have Olympus as my starter, but yeah, I don't know. I think it could be way worse too. You know, I think it could be way worse. You could have a Skitty. You could have a Pidgey, Skitty, Zigzagoon, and Weedle. So yeah, definitely could be worse. It's not the worst team. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and have a tiny grinding session for every Pokemon at level 10, and I'll be right back once it's done. So yeah, see you in just a little bit. Bye-bye. Alright, welcome back. The grinding session is done. I put every single Pokemon at level 10. And as you might notice, we are missing a member. The first time I put Nero on the field to grind him, he fails to run away. And he gets peck critted by a Swablu and dies. So that is the end of Nero. I didn't even end up using it. I'm just gonna kind of change his move pool. I prefer it this way. That's all I can do for Nero. He's been sent to the Shadow Realm, and he's our first death. Now, something else I wanted to check is that I was using a different keyboard. I usually use a Bluetooth keyboard because it does less noise than my gaming keyboard, I guess. But I was actually checking the recording of the grinding session because it did run out of battery during the grinding session, and I couldn't really hear the keys being pressed and the sound it makes. So I'm just gonna make it kind of like a test on the rest of this first episode of the Nuzlocke, where I just kind of see if I can actually even hear the keyboard sound, because if I can, I would 100 times prefer to use this keyboard because it's the keyboard I usually use on everything else. The only reason I don't use it on my recordings is because it makes noise, and I kind of thought that it would be annoying for the episode, but since I didn't hear it on the grinding session recording, I'm just gonna try it for the rest of this episode. If it does make noise, I will change it for episode 2 and keep using the keyboard one. But yeah, we got every other Pokemon to level 10. As you can see, we also got Wings to a Butterfree. So Olympus we trained with special attack mostly, I think. Yeah, we got him 13 special attack EVs and 1 speed, but the speed is from fighting the Elekid at the beginning of the game. Next up we got Spike. Spike got full attack EVs, I think. So we got... No, we actually got a lot of speed. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 attack EVs and 2, 9, 14 speed EVs. Then we have Rocket. Rocket learned Headbutt, and we gave him... Holy moly. 31 attack EVs and 1 speed EV, and he learned Headbutt. So that's pretty cool. And lastly, Wings we trained with speed. I wanted to train him with special attack from the beginning, but to fight Houndours, they have Ember, it would have been too risky, so I just went with speed and like Route 1. And he got 30 speed EVs. So that's all the EVs they got while I was grinding. And obviously, Nero didn't even get a single EV, he just died. He just straight up died. But with that done, we are gonna start by fighting the bug catchers. So there's 5 bug catchers in Viridian Forest. So let's go ahead and beat them. So this is probably gonna be the first one. He has a Weedle and a Caterpie, which is speed and HP. I could give it to Wings. We do want 4 HP EVs on Wings, so if I actually just note it down, it could be fine. So let's go ahead and do that. And honestly, this should be easy. We just spam Confusion. That's the Weedle. And then, oh, I forgot to put it on set mode. I'll do it right after this fight. We even said no, so it doesn't really matter too much. It did fast. Battle scene's on. Battle to set mode. And this on 3 because it's... Okay. So yeah, we got an HP EV. And 1 speed. So if you're actually curious for some reason, Weedle gives you speed and Caterpie gives you HP EVs. So that's one of the 4 HP EVs we're going to be giving Wings. Next up, we have this dude. So he has a Weedle, a Silcoon, and a Cascoon, which is HP and defense. Obviously, none of our Pokemon run defense, but since our worst Pokemon is going to be Zigzagoon, I'm going to give him some defense. So let's go with that. And I think that Silcoon and Cascoon give you 2 defensive instead of 1. So, alright. We do have Rocket. Okay. Go ahead and fight you. So, Wurmple. Okay, and then this should be easy as well. I'm speeding up because it's pretty, pretty useless fight, I guess. So I'm gonna put here that we got... We got 1 HP. We got 4 defense. Okay. Next up we have a trainer with a Metabot and a Kakuna, which is +4 defense again, so it's gonna have Rocket deal with that. Okay, and Kakuna. So +4 defense again. Alright, next trainer has a Venonat, a Surskit, and an Inkata, which is special defense, speed, and defense. I'm gonna stop putting rockets EVs because I'm just gonna give them all the bad EVs. Every trainer that has special defense or something I don't want, I'm gonna give it to Rocket because he's gonna be our scapegoat for now. So I'm gonna stop putting stats on him, I guess, because everything's already really bad. So, okay, it's level 12. Here we go. So the last fight is the one with the Paris. He has attack. One Paris, a level 9 Paris with attack, or with 1 attack EV. We're gonna give it to Spike. So we're gonna do fine with his spec. So let's go ahead and do that. One-shot him. And with that, we can also get Torchic here. Not too interesting. But here, get our last encounter. So we're gonna be taking this Mudkip as well from that girl. And let's see. We're gonna release Torchic. And we're gonna release Mudkip. And we're gonna heal our team. I'm gonna put Rocket in first place, and we're gonna go catch our last encounter. So finally, let's talk about Pewter City encounters. This will also depend if I get the... if I get either the water encounter, or the fish encounter, or the grass encounter on round 22. But basically here, we can get... You get Nosepass. Nosepass is not what you want. Nosepass is just a rock type, pretty generic, kind of bad. Don't want a Nosepass. Then we have Slackoth. Slackoth is a Pokemon that's probably like, you know, it's slacking is pretty powerful, right? I don't want one because of it not being of it not doing anything every 2 turns. I just think it's not good enough for me. I hate that. So I don't think I'll probably if I got a Slackoth, I would probably keep it as a Vigoroth. But I think as a Vigoroth, it wouldn't be as good as having other Pokemon. So I kind of don't want to Slackoth as well, but it can be extremely powerful. If you get one, it's fine. Next up, we have a Sunkern. Sunkern is the Pokemon that you want to get because the item above us is a Sunstone, and you can get a Sunflora before fighting Brock, and the Sunflora just absolutely smashes Brock. Just with Sunflora and the rest of your team, you're probably really easily, you're gonna be having a good time against Brock. You're gonna beat him really easily, and I think that's the Pokemon you want to get here, especially if you didn't get any grass types on any other areas like a Bellsprout or Nordish or even a Hoppip or Shroomish. You do want the Sunkern here to help you fight Brock. I even used I got a Sunkern on my first attempt, and I even used it. I used it to fight Giovanni, I think, which is the last gym leader, which is kind of insane. The only big problem I really have with Sunflora is that it's extremely slow. It's slower than the heaviest rock in the world. It's just so unbelievably slow. That's the only thing I can say that I don't like about Sunflora, but it did pretty fine with everything else. It was a fine Pokemon to get. I really enjoyed it. It really helped me against Brock and made the fight pretty easy. So yeah, if you want to get a single Pokemon from this location, if you don't have any grass types, I would highly recommend getting the Sunkern for Brock, if you can, right? If it's one of your encounters, be really happy. Then you can also find Tailo. Tailo is going to be one of the most insane flying-type Pokemon you're going to be able to get. It has Guts as well as Rattata, right? Guts is just so insane for Nuzlocke, and it's a pretty good flying-type already. Guts just makes it even better. The problem with getting Tailo here is that if you didn't have any grass types, you're going to have a harder time against Brock. I still think it's probably going to be really good in the long run. I think Tailo is absolutely insane with Guts, if you get one. You can also get Skitty, I'm pretty sure here. Again, pretty trash. You don't want one. So hopefully let's get a Sunkern or even a Tailo, but nothing else. We got Sunstone here, and let's see what we get. Sunkern, Tailo, Sunkern, Tailo. We got a Sunkern, so I'm really happy with this. This means we can just get the grass encounter in round 22, and... ooh, I'm kind of scared. We're going to Wings. We'll tackle. Since Zigzagoon has a lot of attack EVs, I'm kind of scared. One more. Okay. So I'm really happy with this encounter. Like I said, it's going to be extremely useful for the gym against Brock. So let's go ahead and catch it. There we go. So the name I had for this was Arl, and we're going to name it Arl again. I think it's a fine nickname for a Sunkern or even a Sunflora. And I'm pretty happy. This is probably the encounter I'm most happy about getting. Because it's just gonna make fighting Brock so much easier. So we're gonna have Arl added to the team. And let's see. You have a gentle nature. I'm pretty sure this is second gentle we got. And it's plus special offense in minus defense. Pretty meh, but well, oh well, you know. So we did get it. I think you want to evolve level 12 with level 13. It's a level where he learns both Absorb and or Leech Seed and Razor Leaf or something. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this encounter. This means we don't get the tail, obviously, but that means we can go back and we can fight Gary and also get our last encounters. So let's see. I forget what the level cap for Brock is. I don't know if it's 13, 14, or 15. So Zigzag Goon is getting a bit too high level. He might be useful with Headbutt. Headbutt is really good. He learned at level 10. Headbutt is 70 base damage plus stab. It's pretty good for the early game, especially with the flinch. So Zigzag Goon can still be useful early game, even if I didn't like getting him, you know, as some other encounters. Still fine. So let's go ahead and heal. And yeah, you can get 7 encounters before Brock, but we got Nero in the Shadow Realm, so you'll get 6 for the gym. So these will be the 6 we'll be bringing. And so let's see. Gary, let me confirm. I think Gary has... I don't have him here? Oh boy. I think he has level 9 Zubat and a level 9 Elekid. Because we got, I think that's it. So, Zubat is speed, and then Elekid is also speed. So we can... I think I'll just use Rocket, honestly, and go from there. Oh yeah, we can also get our encounter. Let's do that first. Please, Rattata, Mankey. Rattata with Guts, Mankey. Even Hoot Hoot. Alright, so we got the Mankey. It's a fine encounter. I'm fine with this. Ooh, how do we not kill it? I'm just gonna throw a Pokeball at it. Okay, so I'm fine with Mankey. It's a fighting type Pokemon. It can help us with Brock as well. That's quite fine. Now let's try another one. There we go. So we got Mankey. And the name I have for this is Tantrum. I got one in my Leaf Tree Nuzlocke. It was okay. I didn't use it that much, but it was fine when I used it. It's a pretty generic fighting type Pokemon. So let's see. Bashful is a neutral nature. I'll take it. It's fine. I don't think we need to. I don't know what the. I'll just use Rocket and hopefully it's not over level cap. Or should we just use someone else? I guess we could use Olympus for speed is fine. I don't want to use Wings because he's half flying and Elekid has Thundershock. We do have Arls as well for the Thundershock. We could switch, honestly. I'll go for Wings. Okay. Let's fight Gary then. He does have his level 9 Zubat. I'm just gonna Confusion and kill it. He's gonna go for Thundershock, so we're gonna go for Arl. He went for Leer. What? Let's see what he goes for. He went for a quick attack, so I'll use this opportunity to switch to Olympus. He got... Oh, what do we have as an ability? Do we have Flame Body? Or... Yeah, we have Flame Body. That's pretty good, honestly. I don't remember what other things he can have, but... Pretty easy fight. And with that, we can also fish, I guess. Let's see the encounters. Pretty sure it's just Poliwag and Clamperl. I can't use Shift for some reason. And I want to see if we find a Clamperl. Or it's just Poliwag and I'm wrong. Pretty sure you can find Clamperl, yeah. So you can get Poliwag or Clamperl here. Probably can be more interesting than Barbuch, maybe, with Clamperl. I kind of want to use a Clamperl now. I really like the evolutions of Clamperl. Yeah, it's pretty much all the trainers before Brock except the one on his gym, right? Ooh, so we need to fight that dude before we actually grind for Brock. So let's see, what does he have? I don't really have it for some reason. So I think I'm gonna check up on the level cap. I'm gonna definitely have a grinding, guys. I think it's either level 13, 14, or 15, the level cap. This is the team I'm gonna be going with. We're gonna be getting Sunflora as well. That's pretty cool. Also needs to train Tantrum. Hopefully doesn't die. Like Houndour, like Nero. Like, what the hell, dude? He got one shot, like it was nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna be having a tiny grinding session again, and I'm gonna be checking on what the trainer has, and maybe even just check what he has and then come back. Because actually, give me a second. I can probably just check really quickly. Let me see. Pokémon FireRed, Omega. So Pewter City. So he has an Aeron. What? The level cap? Oh, level cap is level 14. Okay. I saw every Pokemon level 12 and I was getting scared, but there's level 14 Onix, so yeah. So there's Camperlium has level 10 Aeron, level 10 Sandshrew, and a level 12 Nosepass. Aeron, I don't remember what he gives us. I'm pretty sure Sandshrew is... Sandshrew and... No. Sandshrew might be attack. Nosepass is defense, and I think Aeron is defense? Or... Okay, so what am I gonna... I'm probably gonna... I mean, I can't use Rocket. We're gonna need to use Arl first for the Nosepass for sure. I think I'm gonna put every Pokemon to level 12, and I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna be using, and then we'll have another grind session over that, and we'll put every Pokemon level 14 and start preparing for Brock. So yeah, I'm gonna have a grind session, put every Pokemon at level 14, or level 12 I mean, and I'm not sure if we're gonna be having Sunflora by then or not, but yeah, once I get every Pokemon level 12, I'm gonna defeat Camperlium, finish the grind session for every Pokemon level 14, and we're gonna be fighting Brock and ending off this episode that is already being a little bit too big. But oh well. That's gonna be it for now. I'll see you in just a little bit. Bye bye. Alright, welcome back. I finished the middle grinding session. Spike, we leveled up to level 12 by attack and speed EVs. Wings got speed EVs. Rocket was already level 12. Arl we didn't level up because we need Arl to fight Camperlium, right? And Camperlium has 3 defense EVs. He has an Aeron, he has a Sandshrew, and a Nosepass. We definitely need Absorb to fight that trainer. Now I can put Arl level 12 because we need Arl at level 13 to evolve it into a Sunflora. Because one of them, I don't know which one of the two, learns Mega Drain at level 13, and the other one learns Razor Leaf at level 13. So to get both of these useful grass-type moves, we evolve Arl level 13 to get both. So if you actually go into the fight at level 12, obviously it's going to go like level 14 or even 15. It's going to be kind of problematic. That's why we need Arl level 10, at the level we caught it, so to make sure it doesn't go above level 13, so we can evolve it into a Sunflora with both moves. Tantrum, we leveled up to level 12, it learned like Low Kick and Karate Chop, and we gave him attack and speed EVs, and Olympus we gave special attack EVs. So, obviously, ideally we don't give anyone the defense EVs, probably like Rocket, but we need someone to beat the Aeron for Arl. Even the Sandshrew is kind of scary. It's mostly because of the Nosepass. So we're gonna have Spike beat the Aeron because he did learn Double Kick, or maybe even Tantrum over Spike. I think Spike in the long run can actually be better. So we'll use Tantrum with Karate Chop to beat the Aeron and get the defense EV. Now for the Sandshrew, I don't think ground is not, or grass is not super effective against ground, is it? I'm so confused right now. Gen 3 weakness chart. I'm so confused right now. Generation 2 to 4, sure. So, grass and ground. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. What? I don't understand this list. Let's see, maybe here. This makes a lot more sense. So attack, grass, and where's ground? So grass on ground. It is super effective. Okay. So sometimes I just kind of forget or confuse. So yeah. So then we can put Arl on the field against Sandshrew. The only problem is that Arl is a gentle nature, which means he has minus defense, which is kind of scary. He has 10 defense. Zigzagoon has 16. Wings has 18. Tantrum has 14. So it's our weakest defense Pokemon. But we have the Oranberry to help us out. So if you remember, I don't know if I talked about this already, but Rocket has the pickup ability, which means we actually get extra items just by playing the game. And we did get 2 bonus Oranberries while I was grinding, so I gave one to Arl to specifically make sure that she doesn't die, because we do need Arl for Brock. Alright, so let's do this. It's a pretty scary fight, pretty shaky, but if everything goes right, we'll be okay for Brock. Okay, so let's begin. So he starts with his Aeron. We're gonna put this there, and we're gonna Karate Chop. One shot, pretty usual. Now we're gonna switch into Arl. He went for the Fence Scroll. This is great. I can just start. Oh my god, absorbing. And yeah, oh, we got the Oranberry proc, so we should be fine for the rest of the fight. It did only get level 12, so 2 levels from that. So as you can see, if it was level 12 to begin with, it might have went to level 14. So pretty clean fight actually. I actually even sped it up, but it went pretty great. Obviously we got some bad EVs overall. I did not want Arl to get some Fence EVs or Tantrum, but I think looking at it in the long run, I think a Nido King can be more useful than Primeape, so I do think giving the defense EV to Tantrum instead of Pike is better, and Arl will not be that useful in the long run, so giving him the defense EVs and helping me right now, I think it's the better plan. So pretty great so far. So now we're gonna go back to grinding and put every single Pokemon level 14. I'm gonna come up with a plan to beat Brock, and we're gonna fight Brock. And that should be the end of the first episode. A lot of things happening, a lot of grinding as well. Yeah, I'll see you in just a little bit once the grinding is finished. Bye-bye. Hello, and welcome back to the final part of the first episode. You're finally back, and I am super ready to go fight Brock and finish this episode. It's been a very eventful first episode, but, well, so we finish off the grinding. Let's go over our team really quickly. Now, something I wanted to mention, I don't know if I mentioned before in the episode because a lot has happened, is that Rocket has an ability called Pickup. This means he actually picks up a lot of different berries and nuggets and TM10, which is Hidden Power, and it's really useful specifically in Pokemon FireRed Omega, because Pickup gives you so much berries that you don't get in the game usually, that actually helps you set up for specific fights. As you can see, every single one of my Pokemon actually have a berry because of Pickup. I got all of these berries from Pickup, and I got some really useful berries. So let's go with Arl's first. So Arl's has a Persian which lifts Confusion, and will be very important for Onix in specific. It has Absorb, Growth, Mega Drain, and Razor Leaf. Next up we have Olympus. He has a Chesto Berry, which lifts Sleeping, and he has Scratch, Leer, Ember, and Karate Chop. Rocket also has a Chesto Berry, and he has Tackle, Growl, Sand Attack, and Headbutt. We have Tantrum with Scratch, Leer, Low Kick, and Karate Chop with an Oranberry, which gives your Pokemon 10 HP once you reach a certain HP bar. We have Spike with Peck, Leer, Focus Energy, and Double Kick, also with an Oranberry. And finally we have Wings with Tackle, Stun Spore, Poison Powder, and Confusion, also with an Oranberry. So I'll talk more about why Arl has a Persian Berry and why Olympus and Rocket have a Chesto Berry in the fight, but for now, let us go ahead and begin to fight Brock so I can explain my strategy. So you're here. I'm Brock. I'm Peter's gym leader. My rock-hard willpower is evident even in my Pokemon. My Pokemon are all rock-hard and have true grit determination. That's right, my Pokemon are all the rock type. You're going to challenge me knowing that you'll lose? That's the trainer's honor that compels you to challenge me. Fine then, show me your best. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to say is that we are actually starting with Arl for a very specific reason. Now, obviously you could just say, oh, you started with Arl because your opponent starts with Geodude and it's an easy one-shot kill, right? Well, not exactly. You could have also started with Tantrum or Spike because he has Karate Chomp and he has Double Kick, or even Wings with Confusion could probably take down the Geodude. Even Olympus, I think, has Karate Chomp, right? Yeah. So the specific reason why we're going with Varl is he's a grass-type Pokemon, and this will make the AI go to a Fire-type Pokemon or a Pokemon that has a Fire-type move, and we specifically want the AI, so Brock in this occasion, to send out the Vulpix. Now we're going to take care of this Geodude. It's not really a problem, it's only level 10 as well. All I know is that it has Rock Tomb, so it doesn't really matter too much. We just kind of want to take the Geodude off the field. It's not very important. The big problem is the Vulpix that I really hope it sends out. It goes for the Rhyhorn, and now you might be thinking, why I went for the Rhyhorn? So Brock's Rhyhorn actually has Flamethrower as a move. I'm not too afraid of it, even if he were slower than the Rhyhorn and it Flamethrowers me. It happened on attempt number 1. It did basically no damage because Rhyhorn doesn't have very strong special attack power. So it wouldn't have mattered. So another one-shot kill. So far so good, but not really what we wanted. We kind of just want to get rid of the Vulpix, because once we get rid of the Vulpix, I'm pretty sure we can take down every single Pokemon in this game. So he goes for the Vulpix, so two things might happen now. So he's either going to go for the Hypnosis, which he usually likes to do, or because he sees that he has a super effective move, which is Ember, he might go for Ember. So Vulpix move pool is Confuse Ray, Hypnosis, Substitute, and Ember, so a pretty annoying move pool, but we should be fine. Now, the reason why I don't want to stay with Arl is because I do not want Hypnosis to hit me. Now, if he goes for Ember, sure, I mean, it hits me, but I could still maybe do something, but we can't really do much to the Vulpix with Arl, so we're going to be switching right now. So it's probably going to go for Ember. So we want to go for Olympus because it's not a very effective move against us, and we're going to tank it pretty nicely. Now, this is where the Chesto Berry comes in. He actually missed the Hypnosis, so Hypnosis actually buff in this game and has a higher accuracy. Now that's why we have Olympus and Rocket both with Chesto Berries. These are probably the Pokemon that are going to be doing most damage. Olympus, Rocket has Headbutt. That's probably the highest damaging move we currently have. And it's also a stab move because Rocket is also the normal type. So you have 70 base plus the 50% from stab. That's a lot of damage. And now the reason why Olympus also has a Chesto Berry is because he's very good against Vulpix. Vulpix only has as an attacking move Ember, which is not going to do a lot of damage to Olympus. So if you can actually stay on the field and Karate Chop it enough, it's going to go down. So it's going to go probably for another Hypnosis because it missed the first one, but it doesn't really matter too much because we have our Chesto Berry. That means you're actually going to get 2 hits without it doing anything to us, which is really insane. Now, if he could get a crit, I don't think it kills, so I kind of would hope that we don't get a crit, because if we do get a crit and instead it's red health, it's probably gonna... Oh, it's probably gonna Super Bush anyway, so it goes for the Confuse Ray, which is interesting. I'm gonna switch here and we'll go to Rocket, because I think it's gonna go for Super Bush, and if it does, I do want to have Rocket on the field to Headbutt. It stays on the field, but... Oh my god, a critical. That's F for HP. Oh, we went for Tackle. We got Hypnosis. If I just Headbutt, we win there. I had Headbutt on first place because while grinding, but I did put it in the 4th position before entering. So Tackle's probably not going to be enough to kill it. Oh, yeah, we got a crit. Okay, that actually just saves us a lot of suffering. Holy crap, I messed up there for sure. I was just so confident once I saw that we were going to beat it. So he goes for the Omanyte. Now, Omanyte, all I know it has Protect. So we can actually safely go into Arl and actually go through my strategy. So my strategy was, we take down the Geodude, it summons the Vulpix, we take care of the Vulpix, and after the Vulpix is gone, Arl has no competition. So what we're going to do is 6 times use Growth. So Growth will boost our special attack, which means we're just going to one-shot through all of Brock's team. Obviously, we had to take down a few more Pokemon to get to the Vulpix, but that's absolutely fine, I think. So if the Omanyte is just going to keep spamming Protect, it doesn't really matter. Even if he does damage, we're just going to Mega Drain and heal all of the damage it would do to us. And I don't think it actually has any good moves to do damage to Arl. So I think the game, or the fight in specific, is over. This is the most basic strategy to beat Brock. I think it's a really easy one. Just get Arl, beat the Vulpix somehow. You can get Barboach in Viridian City, right? You can get Poliwag or Clamperl in Route 22. There's a lot of ways that you can find Pokemon. Even with the water types, you can just find any other Pokemon that can do something good against the Vulpix and take it down. Obviously, I had a lot of help from the berries that Rocket got, so Zigzagoon is actually being pretty useful with the pickup ability. So that's 6 growths. Let's just start killing all of these Pokemon. I'm going to skip that Protect, and we're going to go back. He's actually double protecting. What the hell? So he's going to go do Water Gun finally. I think he's out of Protect. But yeah, as you can see, 2 damage. Even if he hit us all those 6 times, it would have been like not enough damage to kill us, right? So there goes the Omnite. Obvious one-shot. We are at +6 special attack right now because of growth. And Arlo's just going to take down every single Pokemon in Brock's team. So this is the same strategy I used on attempt number 1. And it worked wonders. So why not do it in attempt number 2 since we also got Arlo again? So yeah, I think it's a pretty basic strategy, but it works really well. Yeah, that's pretty much Brock. We have Kabuto on the field. So Kabuto has a Rock Tomb, Absorb, and Water Gun. Nothing is going to do Arl. Now, the only problem, I guess, of this fight is that if your Sunflora is slower than the Onix and he actually gets a Swagger off, it can be very problematic, because the Arl I had on attempt number 1 was really slow. I assume this one is pretty slow too. His 16 speed, that's crazy. Let's look at our other Pokemon for a little bit. 20, 29, 28, 24, 30. He has 16. So the biggest problem you're going to have on this fight, I guess, is if you do this strategy. The biggest problem is probably going to be the Onix once the Vulpix is gone, because Onix has Swagger. And if he's faster than you and you don't have a Person Berry like me, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. The thing is, even if he Swaggers me, I got that really great Person Berry from our good buddy Rocket, which means I'm actually going to cut the confusion and just kill him with a 6+ special attack Mega Drain. And that is how you beat Brock really easily with Zigzagoon and a Sunflora. So I hope I explained the fight pretty well. I did go kinda okay. I wasn't expecting it to go Rhyhorn over Vulpix, because I still think that Vulpix with Ember does more damage than Rhyhorn with Flamethrower, because of how low Rhyhorn special attack is, and because of Stab on Vulpix as well. So I was a little surprised because of that. Rather than that, we finally took care of the Vulpix. It was a little bit shaky, but we finally did it. Even that tackle from Zigzagoon, that crit, really saved us because I misclicked really horribly. But oh well. Everything went perfectly. So everything went within my strategy, I guess, except for probably the tackle. And a little bit of luck here and there as well. It was really good that Vulpix missed the first Hypnosis as well, because that means we actually got some extra damage. And with that, we have finished the first fight. We only used 3 Pokemon, right? That was it, I think. So yeah, pretty good fight. We keep the 3 Oranberries for later, and we can move on to Misty now. Now, I don't think we're going to beat Misty on the second episode, because I think that schedule would be completely insane for me. I think we can reach Misty, but I think this first episode is going to be a lot of work for me just to set it up, so we'll probably go a little bit slower from here, but I was just very excited to start this Nuzlocke again, and I'm pretty happy that we beat Brock today. So I'm just going to get the running shoes, because I want the running shoes. And there we go, we can even go faster, holy crap. But yeah, I think overall it was a pretty good Brock fight. Our encounters are fine. Kinda sad about Nero, whatever. But, you know, it happens, I guess. It was kind of unlucky, but oh well, I guess it could have been saved first somehow. I don't really know how. I think that was just an unlucky death. I think I would never change what I did, even knowing what happened. I think it was just a very unlucky death, but we got a pretty good team here, if I can say so myself. I'm actually happy that we got a Zigzagoon, honestly. The pickup is insane. It's really cool. And we even got Tantrum, we even got Mangy on route 22 instead of something worse. There could have been something better, but Tantrum, pretty good still. We even got a pretty decent encounter on Route 1, and we got a really good encounter in Viridian Forest. I guess Starter could be better, but honestly, the Starter helped us against Vulpix. It could have been worse if he kept Embering and stuff, so I'm pretty happy, I guess, with the team. I guess it could have been a lot worse. I think it could be slightly better, but not that much, honestly. So we have a pretty good team to start out, the Nuzlocke, and we destroyed Brock once again, and I'm pretty excited to see what's to come. Hopefully, in attempt number 2 will be the last one. Even though I really like this game, I want to go and do different Nuzlockes as well, but yeah. I'm blabbering, so that's going to be it for today. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy it, and I will see you next time.